Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I am coming to you live on the Modern Mompreneur Facebook page. For those of you who I don't know, my name is Anjali Varma, and I'm a business coach in Bethesda, Maryland. I offer one-on-one coaching services for female entrepreneurs, either launching your business or hoping to take your business to the next level. Mastermind groups, both virtually and in person. And I have the Mompreneur Tribe Facebook group for women entrepreneurs, where you can connect, collaborate with one another, a lot of resources that are shared on there. So I'm really excited to have my special guest here, and I was trying to kind of wait a few minutes because I know oftentimes it takes you guys a couple minutes to log on. So I guess I will intro Kelly. And then, as you guys all know, I would love for you to give me a shout out so I know that you're here. And let me bring in my guest. Aha, you like how that works? So excited to have Kelly Leonard on today. And Kelly and I have been pals for several years now.
Yeah.
And as many of you who follow me know, I'm a huge proponent of networking and connecting and collaborating. And Kelly and I think we met through one person. We've had conversations. We've collaborated together. And what I love about Kelly and I, as I hope I'm practicing what I preach. We have tried to support one another and connect one another with many other people. And it's just like a nice mutually beneficial relationship. So Kelly, I will let you kind of do your own intro, but just so all of you know, today we're going to be talking about LinkedIn tips, networking tips, and Kelly and I are going to be doing a workshop in person later this month that stay tuned. We'll be offering more details on that and special offers on that as well. So Kelly, give us the quick synopsis of who you are and what you do.
Awesome. Well, thank you first and foremost, Anjali, for having this live right now. It's great to be a part of this. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you froze for a little second, but you're here. Yes.
Okay, because I saw the look in your eyes.
The deer in headlights, yeah.
So no, it's great to be here. Yeah, we've known each other for a little while. I think we were first introduced by way of, at that time, the Small Business University, and you provided some amazing marketing and other strategies to really get people's, from a PR perspective, being able to maximize PR. So I know I've learned a ton from you through the years, and so it's been awesome. But just to dial it back a little bit, my name is Kelly Leonard. I'm the CEO of a small, closely held company called Taylor Leonard Corporation. So we are based in Maryland, and we're essentially a training and business development organization. A lot of what we do is we leverage technology in order to increase professional brands. Specifically, what I do is I leverage the power of LinkedIn as a tool to boost people's visibility. And so through the years, I've trademarked this BOOST strategy and the acronym. So BOOST is helping our clients to build their brand, to optimize relationships, obtain new leads, secure thought leadership space, and then tap into new markets. And a lot of what we teach and train are the strategies that resulted in us winning just over $500,000 of new technology revenue, which was our core business at that time, just through LinkedIn. And the first $250,000 was won on free LinkedIn, because that's one of the first questions that everybody asks. Is they're like, oh, that's great that you've had all these wonderful results on LinkedIn, but you probably have premium, so you have all these bells and whistles. And I was like, maybe now we do. But when we first started out, we were maximizing free LinkedIn. And because I'm a CPA by trade, the frugal side of me would not allow any clients to pay for paid LinkedIn until they really maximize the use of the free version first.
And what I love about talking with you today, Kelly, is that I talk a lot about social media and the power of relationships online. But I focus more on the channels that I am more familiar with. So, Facebook and or Instagram. But there are so many people out there that don't necessarily feel like the Instagram is the appropriate channel for them, or even if they do, they, like me, often ignore LinkedIn. So I think this is going to be good, because I think, before you dive into the tips, I want your thoughts. A lot of the people on here will be entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and, small business owners. Why do you think that this channel is critical regardless of what industry you are and regardless of whether you're a corporate professional or a small business owner?
Well, it's funny because you bring up a really important point. The fact that there's so many different social media platforms. And as entrepreneurs, we're like, oh, something shiny and new. I got to be there. And I think while it's important for us to have some level of presence, probably on just about every platform, we do need to kind of figure out, okay, what's going to be our core platform, because it becomes really difficult because they're constantly changing and morphing. And so it's like, if you are going to be a self-professed expert in all those different platforms, you're really going to have no time to actually deliver whatever product or service it is that you do, because you're going to be spending all of your time learning all the different changes and nuances in these different platforms. And so one of the things that I hear a lot of people is they'll say, oh, well, I'm on Facebook because I'm B2C, or I'm on LinkedIn because I'm B2B. But at the end of the day, regardless of who our end buyer is, it's a person. It's not like a company can write you a check and pay you your service fees. There's a human behind the check writing. And so because of that, and because so many business professionals see LinkedIn as being one of those more stable platforms, perhaps they're trying to separate their personal life from their work life. And they see it having the most stability because they don't have to perhaps bring in pictures of family and all these other aspects that the more social platforms have. They see LinkedIn as being a really strong player in that area. The other reason why I believe LinkedIn is a really strong player for a lot of us as business professionals is that oftentimes, if you were to do a search in Google on your name, one of the first things that's going to pop up is your LinkedIn URL. And so because of that, and because we live in a time where people are constantly fact checking or doing their due diligence, it would probably be in our best interest to go ahead and make sure that our LinkedIn presence is strong, because of the fact that so many people in their fact checking are probably going to come across that particular platform before they come across the other ones.
Okay, great. That means all of you out there, regardless of the industry or how small you feel like your business is, I think this can be relevant to anybody. And I would love in the comments, if people are out there and or when you're watching the replay, feel free to comment below when you're watching the replay, which I know many of you do, because Kelly and I will be checking throughout the week and we can respond to any questions and or comments written as well. But I would love to hear from any of you as we're chatting. If you could chat and let us know if you're currently on LinkedIn or how, if any way, you are using LinkedIn. That will help to steer our conversation as well. But while we are waiting for that, Kelly, why don't we dive in, thinking about from an entrepreneur's perspective, some of the tips on how the best way to kind of leverage this channel or some of the watch outs.
Yeah, absolutely, because you bring up an important point. Because when you think about our digital footprint, it spreads like wildfire. Like anyone can go online and check you out. And so because of that, it's in our best interest to make sure we're doing everything aligned with LinkedIn etiquette, because LinkedIn etiquette is so different than the other social media platforms, like in Twitter, for example, where people are a bit more tolerant when they are constantly hearing from you, so to speak. So you're tweeting or you're retweeting and all this stuff. And as a matter of fact, I think it's like if you're not tweeting or if you're not retweeting at least 20 times a day or something like that, they consider you not to be really engaged in Twitter. Not so much on LinkedIn. So when you think of, if I had to narrow it down to like 7 critical mistakes that I see people make, these are the things that are destroying their credibility. And one of them is over communicating. Along those lines, over communicating, constantly overselling or sharing of all the great things that you're doing while you're probably doing a lot of really cool things. It's just that people grow tired of constant self-promotion. And so because of that, I think it's important that we make sure that we have a lot of balance in the way that we communicate inside of LinkedIn, where sometimes you're just sharing, okay, this is what's going on with me or my industry or the work that my company is doing. But then other times focusing on, well, what's going on with my clients, or maybe a strategic partner, or maybe you're just providing some encouraging thought or something along those lines. But again, that etiquette is important, because while in, let's say, Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest, people are very visual and they perhaps are interested in what you ate for breakfast, nobody's interested in what you ate for breakfast on LinkedIn, unless, of course, you had breakfast with like Jeff Bezos. Then they want to see that. But unless it's got some sort of business side to it, nobody wants to really see that kind of content.
Oh,
you're still there.
Okay. Sorry. So is that kind of like that 80-20 rule of, that a lot of times are on other social media channels? So 80% others, 20% you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it really needs to be, even the you piece needs to be spun or shared in such a way where it's content that you believe is going to be relevant or of interest to the network that you've built. Because
Right.
otherwise, then again, it just sounds like noise, and people really don't have a lot of patience for noise on LinkedIn.
Okay. And what are some of the you posts that you would be doing? It would be like anything, right? Like I landed this new client or we have this event coming up or any of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Or like I saw on Facebook recently, you had shared some of the challenges or, the fact that you were tuning in from the what was it? The Mom 2.0
Mom 2.0 conference. Yeah.
Yes, that kind of content is relevant because it's like, oh, okay, I've got other women entrepreneurs that are on LinkedIn that maybe never even heard of the Mom 2.0 conference. And, or it could be the type of thing where, hey, I'm in California, and you could even do a video on LinkedIn, and it may cause people that are in your network that are in that geography to then be paying to say, oh, she's in your area. So it could open up dialogue for additional conversation in that sort of face-to-face meeting, since you're on that, in that area that they're in.
Oh, so people go live on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so you can go live on LinkedIn, and native video is huge on LinkedIn. That'll help sort of increase your visibility as well. So yeah, the thing is, so it's a good thing and then a not so good thing, because one of the things that LinkedIn is really looking at is they're looking at the success of other platforms. And so when you've got like, the Facebook Live and all these other, the Instagram, the stories and all that other stuff. So LinkedIn is trying to adopt a lot of those similar functionality, because they see that other people are engaging and it's increasing engagement. Because at the end of the day, they just want you to stay in their platform for as long as you possibly can. So if they can make the platform as engaging as they can to keep people more eyes and visibility in the platform, they're going to do those types of things. So yeah, video, native video, all that good stuff is inside of LinkedIn.
What are some of the other pitfalls you've seen, or some of the watch outs, things that we need to avoid when we're kind of exploring this channel?
I would say another thing is, and I've seen a lot of this lately, where people are just sending these generic requests to connect. So, maybe you and I meet for the first time. I've got a short memory, or maybe it takes you a while to send me the connection, or you come across my business card and you're like, oh, I'm going to send Kelly a request to connect, but you don't provide the context by which you're requesting to connect. Hey, we met at this event, or hey, I see we share these people in common. You're just sending me this generic request to connect. And because we've all taught, actually just for kicks, Anjali, I'm going to say this sentence and you finish it. My parents taught me never to talk to
strangers.
Exactly. Bing, you win a prize. And so we've all been raised that way. And so when you think about it, we're being thrust into this environment of 500 million strangers, and we're one of them. And then we start getting these requests to connect from random people. They're just generically saying, hey, I want to connect with you. And you're like scratching your head, like, why, Bill in Bulgaria, are you trying to connect with me? And like, you've got 13 connections and magically you want me to be the 14th one. That's a red flag, because chances are Bill is a hacker. And so, so there's people, you have to watch out for those warning signs for people that aren't real people inside of LinkedIn. But by the same token, there's lots of great people in LinkedIn, and we're minimizing, or we're marginalizing the potential impact that we can have, because we're shortcutting the system to say, okay, I'm just going to send you a blanket request to connect, hoping that you're going to accept it, when the chances of you accepting it are far more increased when I just take the time to say, hey, Anjali, it was great meeting you at the Mom 2.0 conference. Would love to stay in touch, or would love to explore ways to help one another. Please connect. Because then you're like, okay, even if I can't remember you, because you've provided me with content. Exactly. And so now I'm more likely to say, oh, yeah, that's perfect conversation.
What if you want to connect with someone who isn't somebody you've met in person?
Well, you should also just try to figure, so you should, number one, go to their profile and do a little digging around to try to find some affinity. So either it's geographically, hey, we're both in the DC area, or if it's relationally, hey, I see you're an entrepreneur and I am too, you're a woman and I am too, you're a business owner and I am too, or the best piece is, hey, we share lots of mutual connections. You know, birds of a feather flock together. We share some of my most treasured connections. I would love to connect with you and just explore more ways to help one another, or just learn more about what you do and explore ways to be of service to you.
And on the flip side, what about when we get those requests to connect? What do you recommend is how you evaluate whether you should connect with them or not?
So that's a great question, because I take kind of a three-pronged approach. Number one, does the person look real? And if they look real, do we share someone or something in common? So again, the something could be we're both in the DC area, or we both used to work at at GE, or do we have someone in common? But I think the most critical element is, do I have at least 5 minutes to just have a conversation with you to get to know you a bit more? And that's where I see a lot of people fall short, because they aren't investing the time to get to know who's in their network. And so we then amass these hundreds or perhaps thousands of people that we're connected to. We have no relational connection to them. And so the relationship then falls kind of on deaf ears, because what then happens is, let's say you and I are connected and you've got a meeting next week with the supplier diversity and inclusion leader at some big company, and you see that I'm connected to the person. And so you reach out to me before the meeting just to say, hey, Kelly, I'm meeting with this person next week. What can you share with me about them? You know, it does you no good if I'm like, oh, I don't know, I'm just connected to them. But if I at least invested a 5-minute, call with them, I could say, you know what, Anjali, I don't know them intimately, but this is what I learned about them. They seem to be a really nice person. They have a great personality. They're very engaged. They're looking to help more women in business. Feel free to use my name when you have a conversation with them. So now I'm better positioning myself and my network, because in those 5-minute conversations, my goal is to get to know the person at least a little on the surface, so that I can know what they do, to share what I do, and then for us to have that dialogue to explore ways to help one another.
Okay. I love is a lot of the tips that Kelly is sharing on LinkedIn also apply to kind of offline networking. And in our boot camp, which we're going to talk about in a second, we'll talk a lot about these offline networking tips and how they relate to LinkedIn and online as well. Kelly, are you there? Did I lose you? Uh-oh, we have a frozen Kelly. I'm going to keep talking in the meantime. I want to hear from all of you out there. So comment and let me know that you can still hear us. And also tell me how you have currently been using LinkedIn as a platform. So far we've talked about the 80-20 rule of sharing some of your content, but also sharing interesting articles and or information. So it's not just all about you. Oh, there you are. And then, we also...
I can hear you, but I can hear you now, so...
Oh, okay. Are you there?
Oh, I think we were back for a second, but then I think we zoned out again.
I think we're good now. So, you there, Kelly?
I can hear you, but I just can't see you.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going to keep talking then.
Keep talking. There we go.
So using a lot of the skills that we just talked about in the online world and the LinkedIn platform really do apply to the offline world as well in networking. And so one of the things that I noticed just being at this conference, and what I will dive, Kelly and I will both dive further in. Oh, okay. Thanks, Dana. We'll dive further in this in-person boot camp, is how you translate some of these skills in the offline world. So, just a quick example would be when you attend these conferences or these networking events, making sure that you're trying to hear as much about the other person as you are, providing your own spiel or elevator pitch. And one of my favorite things to do, which I've been culling through the hundreds of cards that I got, because people just throw a card at you, just like they throw a request at you, is making little notes on the back of every card, so that when you do follow up with an email, if you do want to connect with that person and speak with them in more detail, you can give some specific context around who you are. and the conversation you had so that you become that much more memorable. And it's very similar to what Kelly was just saying in the LinkedIn world as well, right?
Yeah, no, I love that approach because and then it also shows people that you were listening, right? Because otherwise it's just like, oh, I'm just another face in the crowd, so to speak. But if you can really be super specific, and I love the fact that you're taking notes on the cards, because then that's another way where because people just want to be heard, they want to feel special and important and all that good stuff. And so I love that approach that you're taking.
Yeah. So before we dive into some of the details of our workshop, Kelly, can you maybe give, so I know that Dana just chimed in, so let's use her as an example. She does interior design for really anybody, right? So can you maybe use her as an example of how she might be able to, so a solo service provider, who is more localized in their service, right? And it's more of an in-person service. How could someone like her quickly, and then of course, you're going to want to take the workshop to really get the deep dive and specific examples, but a general example of how they might be able to use LinkedIn.
So for someone like her, because again, when I think of the work that Dana does, and then when I think of let's say you're a divorce attorney or a bankruptcy attorney, it's not like people are shouting from the rooftops, my house is a mess, I need an interior decorator, or my marriage is in shambles, so I need a divorce attorney. So the way that I always suggest that those people use a platform like that is to think of, well, who are your strategic partners? Who are the people that have the clients that you're looking for? So in the case of Dana, it's like, okay, let me build relationship with realtors, for example, because they're on LinkedIn. And so if I can just build up, a community of realtors or other people that I know when I look back who've been really great referral partners for me, and then identify who those individuals are on LinkedIn, use the advanced search functionality to figure out, okay, who are the realtors in Washington, D.C. or wherever her region might be. And then that way, and who are specifically residential, assuming that she does residential interior design. And then that way she's narrowing the focus down to, okay, I just want to build relationship and connect with people who have the clients that I'm looking to also connect with, because if I can build value and show and build relationship with those individuals, then the next time they've got to stage a home, let's say, or the next time someone's purchased a new home, maybe it's an opportunity for her to say, oh, you should offer this person a gift certificate to my services, and I'll provide them with interior decorating ideas or something as a, welcome to your new house type of gift solution. So there's so many different directions that she can take it in, but that's the way that I would suggest that she do it, is that she use it from that perspective to say, well, who's got my clients and how can I connect with those people?
So it might be using the platform to find other influencers, other people to collaborate with. It's not necessarily only using this platform to find your ideal customer.
Absolutely. Yes. So it's those peers, your partners, and prospects, really. So who are those people who are my clients? Who are those people that have my clients? And who are those people who potentially might just be, my peers that I can bounce ideas off of and share thought leadership with because I'm having a particular challenge in my business.
Okay, awesome. Dana, hopefully you're still on and that helped you. If anybody else wants to chime in with what their business... Dana says, I like being the example. I'm taking notes. So helpful. Thanks, Kelly. Okay, awesome. Well, that's what you get for commenting and tuning in live. When you do that, then you get to be the example and or we answer your questions. So that's the carrot I'm dangling for more of you to tune in live and to ask questions and comments. So Kelly, let's, if anyone else want to chime in, welcome to do so right now. We have like 5 minutes and we're going to talk a little bit about our boot camp. But if you have a quick question or comment, do so now and we'll get to it after we do the deep dive of what we're going to be offering in our in-person workshop. So we're doing it in Bethesda, Maryland. So for those of you who are not here, you can still comment and let us know if you're interested, because we could absolutely take this online at another time. So we would be open to considering that if we hear from you that you have a demand out there. So let us know. Kelly, why don't you chat a little bit about what you're going to be offering? And then, we're doing it in tandem, and the whole idea is it's going to be a cohesive for 3-hour workshop with then lunch and networking. So it's another, what I like to tell everyone that I've been talking to about this is Kelly's got a pretty, what's the right word? Extensive network of small business owners, and as do I. And I'm sure there's a little bit of overlap, but there's also a lot of, completely individual populations. So it gives you an opportunity, if you attend a lot of my events or you attend a lot of her events, to meet a whole host of other people. So I think that's one of the biggest benefits of it being in person in the workshop. But Kelly, do you want to talk to us a little bit about what you're going to be talking about and anything else?
Absolutely. So we're going to do a deep dive into LinkedIn and really walk out what it means to boost your visibility. So again, how do we help you build your brand, optimize relationships, obtain more leads, secure thought leadership space, and tap into new markets, specifically using LinkedIn as that tool. So a lot of the strategies that I'm going to be sharing with the participants are those strategies that when we adopted them internally, we had won over $500,000 of new consulting revenue in a 24-month period just through the LinkedIn community. So really powerful, tactical strategies. You'll bring your laptop, we'll roll up our sleeves, we'll do some, actual edits in the in your profile and really equip you with the strategies so that you leave there either with a new profile and or at least knowing the keystrokes, because I'm big on muscle memory. I think you need to walk it out in order to then apply it later on. So that, and then we're going to combine that with a lot of just networking tips, which I know we're both going to and share information, the networking tips, because again, LinkedIn and all these other social media platforms, for as great as they are, they will never replace what we're doing right now, getting face to face or picking up the phone, meeting with someone directly. All they're designed to do is to compress the time that it takes for someone to get to know, like, and trust you, so that then you move them to a sale, or that they're comfortable enough for them to then refer you to the folks that you know. And so we're going to be spending a lot of time in just learning those strategies, getting to know one another, and really building those powerful partnerships, which I know Anjali and I are big fans of.
Yeah, and then we're also talking about personal brand, the importance of personal branding, how you brand yourself, both online and off. And I will also touch a little bit on what Kelly mentioned before, the PR and how you can use your own brand and your own expertise to get your own PR. So really kind of the 360 or 180 approach to first figuring out what your brand is, how you're an expert, and then how you leverage different channels out there, including media, LinkedIn, and other social media, to kind of solidify your expertise and hopefully gain new business and contacts as a result.
And I will say this, although Anjali is she is the quintessential mompreneur, this is not just for ladies only. So gents, if you want a piece of the action, please feel free to join us. Or, oh my gosh, you know what? What a great Mother's Day gift.
Oh my gosh. I love that. How did the queens of marketing not think of that earlier?
So that's your Mother's Day
gift. Yourself, or a gentleman, treat your ladies, or, a great couples activity. We are doing it on my anniversary, so maybe I should.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
So that workshop is going to be on May 22nd in downtown Bethesda. We have it from 9 to 1. So 9 to 12, we'll be doing the more of the deep dive, little breaks for a little bit of networking, and then 12 to 1, we'll have lunch provided as part of the workshop. And so you guys, if you have questions on what the workshop entails or whether it's the right fit for you, feel free to comment again below or reach out to either of us, direct message or email, because we're happy to answer any questions. I do think it's applicable to entrepreneurs, but and or to corporate professionals, really anybody, because I think the skills that we're going to be showing can be applied to multiple channels. And also, as Kelly alluded to earlier, in this day and age, we kind of all have to be everywhere. Even if you're, working at a corporation, at a nonprofit, you still need to have your own personal brand. And you still have to know how to carry yourself offline and online. So we will be doing an early registration discount. So we're going to be offering $50 off of the workshop if you enroll sometime this week. So all the info is on Kelly's page. All the info is on my page. I want to hear from you. Comment, let us know. And, you know, if you have kind of been wondering about LinkedIn and or how to leverage social media, I promise you will walk away with specific, tangible tips so that you can start to actually take action right after walking out the doors of this workshop. I'm huge on that, and I know Kelly is too.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to chime in or add, Kelly?
No, I think you've said it all. And I'm the biggest takeaway that I could say is just to reiterate what you said. You know, it's tips and strategies for you to monetize the output, right? Because, you know, the return on investment, we know time is valuable. You're investing in your time, you're investing money to be a part of this workshop. And I guarantee you that you will walk away with a way to strategically monetize your presence. And that's the big and invaluable piece.
Absolutely. And you get to hang out with Kelly and I, so who wouldn't want to do that? Do you have anything else exciting coming up that you want to throw out before we say goodbye?
Oh, wow. Since you asked, this week, May 10th, is the next LinkedIn Local.
Oh, right.
It's going to be at Launch Workplaces in Gaithersburg. And then the following week, May 17th, I'll be hosting the next Small Business Network, and it's Women Mean Business is the theme. So I'm going to be interviewing 3 supplier diversity and inclusion leaders, one from Sodexo, McCormick and Company, as well as Freddie Mac. And we're going to be talking about how and why these companies are engaging women-owned businesses to move the needle on women-owned businesses.
And the LinkedIn, tell everybody who's not familiar about LinkedIn Local, because I went to one last month, and I'm hoping to go on Thursday. So I would love to meet some of you guys there if you're going to be there. But tell us what that is and also what the topic is.
So the topic this month actually is podcasting. So, you know, we're hearing so much about podcasting and getting your name out there. And so this is all around how to use podcasting for business success. And really LinkedIn Local, it's really designed to pull us out of from behind our computers and get us face-to-face in front of one another to build meaningful connections with people that are right there in your backyard. So LinkedIn Local takes place in over 100 different countries around the world. So on any day of the week, you can have an event taking place anywhere in the world. And so in MoCo, we have LinkedIn MoCo, which will be taking place next week, or this Thursday, the 10th, in Gaithersburg. And then you, Anjali, are our June speaker.
I know. I'm very excited. It's kind of an extension of some of the stuff we talked about today that I'm going to be sharing.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that too. Okay, so mindful of everyone's time, I think we are going to sign off, but hope to hear in the comments from all of you. We will respond to all the comments afterwards. And Kelly and I hope to see you on May 22nd, those of you who are local. And if you're interested in having this info in the online world, definitely message us.
I think.
Message us and let us know that too. Are you there, Kelly? I keep losing you. Okay, well, I hope you chime back in before we leave. But if not, Kelly says bye too. I will be back live with you guys next week, Tuesday, 2 Eastern time on the Modern Mompreneur Facebook page. Probably sharing some of my tips on that I learned from the Mom 2.0 conference last week. I do have a blog post up that shares some of them, and I'll be going in more tips in more detail. So thank you to Kelly, and thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see many of you at her LinkedIn Local later on this week. Oh, there you are, Kelly. You there? Okay. Well, thanks all. I will see you next week. Have a great day.